Alrighty. Alright. Welcome back. Camera quality looks fucking awful, but I'm gonna look past it this time because we're in the beginning works of this YouTube stuff. So I'm gonna let it slide this time. Tried to get it on the other computer here, and it just wasn't going for it. So I'm gonna do it on the shitty computer, the old piece of shit. But welcome back to Shoddy Shot Productions. Let's talk about it podcast. I'm your host, Rashad. And I'm sorry I'm late. I was supposed to do this yesterday. It kind of got busy and then didn't really feel like it. A lot to talk about. Starting off number one, Tennessee. We won this weekend. Go Vols. Uh, Not much really bad to talk about that. More of looking forward. But do need to talk about the Saints and how bad Pete Carmichael is. So we got a lot to talk about today. Feet my two sons behind me, aka my cats, not really my kids. Um, yeah, I'm gonna dive deep into this and a few other uh, small, not really small, just other things I saw on the weekend of sports that I feel need to talk about. Let's jump right into it. Start off Tennessee. We won. Played Texas A&M, and for the first time I think in a very long time, our defense won us a football game. And I saw a stat like midway through the game, like fourth quarter. It was like we are 0-7 or something under Josh Heupel when we don't score 20 or more points, or if we don't score 24 or more points. I'm like 0-6, and I was getting worried. I was like, yeah, we're not really known for our defense at all. It's just not what Tennessee is anymore. Um, but our defense played well. Now, granted, A&M, of course, is not the best teams offensively, but they're still a competent opponent. Like, they got a decent run game. They got a decent quarterback. Like, they can move the ball. And they've shown that. There's a reason they were kind of in that game. You know, before the game kicked off, I think it was like they had like a 45% chance of staying there 50-50 right down the middle. There's a reason. A&M, we were definitely favored. We were home, but you know, A&M is a solid team. I respect them, and I gave them their flowers. They played a hell of a game on the defense side of the football. Um, that being said, our defense played out, and I've been saying it all year. Our defense is going to be the reason we're back to where we need to be. Our defense is going to be the reason we win games this year that we didn't win last year, as in South Carolina game, the Georgia game. Our defense is going to be the focal point versus our last year's our offense, just our offense. Our defense is so much better than last year. We can get after anybody, any quarterback. We can get after them. We can make plays. Um, in the secondary, we don't get as many turnovers. We definitely are like last in the SEC, probably the FBS in turnovers. But when you're getting pressure on the quarterback and forcing punts, it's the same thing. Um, so I'm excited this weekend. We play Bama this week, and they do not have a strong offensive line. Milrow takes a lot of sacks. I think that's going to benefit us very, very well. I think we're going to make life difficult for them. Now, on the flip side, with that being said, is our offense going to be able to score? All right, we've struggled with that all year, and it's evident of why it is. Now, from an outsider's perspective, you could say it's play calling. Right? You could say our receivers are weak. We don't have a really good receiving room like we did last year. Say all those things, but it all boils down to the quarterback. That's all it boils down to because we have a decent receiving core. You know, like our receiving core is no better than Georgia's. Other than Brock Bowers, if you're not a Georgia fan, who else do you know? And Lance McConkey, whatever his name is, who else do you know on the Georgia offense? You don't know anybody if you're not a Georgia fan, or you don't at least watch the SEC. I don't know much of it unless I sit down and watch a Georgia game. So, with that being said, it's kind of it boils down to Joe Milton. The play calling is the way it is because of Joe Milton. Last year with Hendon, we let that thing. It was wide open. Playbook was always open, never condensed down, because we trusted Hendon Hooker to do what a NFL caliber quarterback is going to do, what a quarterback that is a leader is going to do. Now, that's not saying anything about Joe Milton's leadership and him as a person. It's him as a quarterback. He has good intentions, but he's just not very. He's got the potential, all the potential in the world, but he just doesn't know how to use it. It seems like, and he's the same exact quarterback as Jalen Milroe. They're the same exact quarterback. The difference is Jalen Milroe is a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken, and Joe Milton is a sixth-year quarterback. 6 years, and you haven't figured it. And it's not like he's playing against. It's not like it's just because he's in the SEC. He did this in Michigan. There's a reason he got benched at Michigan and he came to UT. There's a reason why in his first year he had some injuries and they didn't put him back on the field. They kept hindering him. There's reasons for this, right? He's a backup. He was a backup for a reason, and now we're seeing that at full scale because he makes the decisions that middle school quarterbacks don't make. He makes pre-snap decisions, and when they don't work, he's like a deer in headlights. And it's evident. And Josh Heupel knows that. And he's like, well, we're just going to have to simple the playbook. Have to close it down a little bit. Take him out of those situations, you know? And I think with this last year, that'd be very bad for us. But this year, we've got an offensive line. We've got some really good running backs. And he's able to make a few plays here and there, but it's not consistent. And you can't pull him. You know, a lot of people are going to say, "Why don't you just bench him again?" Well, you can't do that because this is a team. 2 years ago, we had no expectations, right? We had expectations for ourselves, but there wasn't any outsider expectations. Like no one thought Tennessee was going to be number one in the college football playoff rankings last year at any point. We weren't even ranked to start the year, right? This year, we're ranked top 10. We did all that good last year. Now, how can we build on that? On top of that, we're 5-1, right? We know we're going to meet our match at some point, but how do we avoid it? How do we avoid the inevitable? Well, you put them in situations where we can win, right? And what message would it send to your team if you pull out the guy that you're supposed to put all this trust into and just he's not playing well, you pull him out? To the team, that sends a shitty message. And also, you're putting in an unexperienced quarterback when a team that's 5-1 doesn't make sense. Doesn't add up. If we were 4-3, 3-4, 2-5, it'd be completely different. He would have been pulled. Nico would be starting. But that's not the case. This is a team that still has a shot to do something special. So it makes sense why we didn't pull him, why we won't pull him. Now let's say we lose 3 or 4 straight. Yeah, then he's probably getting pulled, 100%. But until that happens, I don't see why we wouldn't. And I think it'd be bad if we did. You know, if we were winning games, we pull Joe Milton because he's not playing well. Let's use an example. There's been plenty of quarterbacks in the NFL. College is different. Like college, you have to have a quarterback, right? NFL, you don't have to have a quarterback. You could have me out there. If you got a good run game, a good defense, a good offensive line, to win 15 games, win a Super Bowl. College is not like that. You have to have a guy that can move the ball down the field in college. And Joe Milton he has it in him, but now he's gotten you can clearly see he's scared. He's hesitant now, and he overthinks more than he ever had. When you're back up and you come in garbage time, doesn't matter. You can look perfect because there's no expectation on you. But now that you're the starting quarterback of a team that is supposed to be a top 10 kind of squad, you're gonna want to be perfect. And I think he's trying a little bit too hard. And truthfully, this year I feel like I've only seen one Joe Milton game, and that was in our only loss. The Florida game is the only time I've seen Joe Milton play well, where that game was not his fault. The defense couldn't get a stop. We shot ourselves in the foot the whole night. He overthrew like 1 or 2 throws. He missed a few throws, but not like he gave us a shot, right? But in classic Tennessee fashion, somebody else who really does have no effect on the game will mess up the game. You know, personal foul penalties, this, that, here. It's the inedible for Tennessee game. Um, but with all that being said, I think this week is going to come down to which defense can get after the quarterback the most, which run game is the most effective, and which quarterback can make the least amount of mistakes. Jalen Monroe is an exceptional talent. He is going to be. I don't think people understand. I think people are forgetting who Nick Saban is and what he's able to do. But I think everyone forgets that Jalen Hurts was not good. Jalen Hurts was Jalen Monroe at one point. He got benched for a reason. Jalen Monroe is a very good talent. If he stays at Bama throughout his college, he stays there, he's going to become a first round draft pick. He has the potential to be very, very Heisman type good. He has it, but he's young and he hasn't had the playing time. Now that he's getting the playing time, this is the year to knock off Bama again. Next year, that shit's wrapped up. Bama's going to be back. Nick Saban's going to make. He's going to know he has his quarterback. He's going to let everyone else know who his quarterback is. Now let's hope that doesn't start against us. But yeah, Jalen Monroe he's a great talent. He hasn't figured it out yet, and that's good for us because our defense is going to be. I think we're going to be able to get to him enough. Um, force him to throw the ball. Now, with that being said, our secondary has not been the best, has been the worst. It's kind of middle of the pack. And Bama's got some guys. They got some dogs, a receiver, like always, that can stretch the field. So I'm a little bit interested in that. At Bama, Bama can consistently hit those balls. We're in trouble. Um, Bama has this thing this year. They'll start off the game hot and finish very, very slow. They'll start off the game and they'll hit 2 or 3 deep balls and be up for 14-0, and then sputter out, and then it's 14-0 to 17-14 in the fourth quarter. So I think our offense, if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we keep this game close. It will come down to a. I think it'll come personally. I think this game's going to be just like A&M game, probably same score or close to it. And it's going to come down to our defense at the end of the game. It won't come down to either quarterback making a drive. It'll come down to which defense can make the play at the end of the game. It's going to be about defenses and running game. It's going to be a physical football game, an old school SEC football game. And I'm excited because this is another test for us, right? I think if we beat Bama for the second year in a row, if we beat them last year, we beat them with offense. If we can beat them with defense this year, I think this is a new level for this Josh Heupel stepping stone. I think we go up another level. I think we're able to really turn heads. Because after this, we got Missouri, we got Kentucky, we got Georgia, and of course Vanderbilt. But I think we win this game. We get to 6-1. We got UConn after that. I'm pretty sure that should be 7-1. We go into Missouri 7-1. I'm going to that game. I'm thinking about vlogging it. If we go into Missouri 7-1, they're probably going to be around the same, maybe 8-1, something like that. It's going to be a night game, and it's going to be one of our biggest games. I think it's going to be one of our statement games. Because personally, I think Missouri's good. They can score. But I think Josh Heupel is going to be able to figure something out by then, especially with UConn coming next. If we're able to win Bama, we're going to figure it out. I think once we get to a certain level, it's like, okay, we got to figure it out. And he's going to find a way. Then we're going to go to Missouri, and I think we're going to have a statement night. We're going to have a statement game. People are going to be like, Missouri's at home. I wouldn't be surprised if game day's there or something. Biggest game Missouri's had in 10 years, possibly. I think it's going to be they're going to be writing us off a little bit. And I think it's going to be a statement game. We're going to show up. I don't believe in Kentucky this year. I did for a little bit. I think their defense is good and their running game is good, but I don't think they have the quarterback to really play with anybody in the SEC. You saw that against Georgia. They're just not. They're missing Will Levis. I think we'll be able to expose that pretty well. And then Georgia comes up in Neyland, and that will define our season because we can't lose any more games. We're not good enough. Notre Dame is the only team that has 2 losses that I believe can still make the playoff. Only team. We get another loss, we're screwed. I don't care how close it is. I don't care where it is. We can lose another game. We're done for. Because we have to win our division. So no matter what, we have to beat Georgia. Right? I think bro got fingers. He's scratching like a motherfucker. But yeah, I think this year, if we can keep stacking these wins, no matter how we get them, I think we got a shot. Now I'm not saying national championship, but I'm at least aiming for at least an SEC championship game. Right? Last year we should have been in the playoff, but we couldn't beat South Carolina for whatever reason. Beamer ball got to us. This year, I'm like, okay, I want to at least get to the SEC championship. I want to at least, make another step in this building stone for Josh Heupel. And that would be an SEC championship game, win or loss. An appearance is good. And next year, when pretty much everyone's gone, we restart it and we keep it going. We got Nico starting next year. We keep this process going. And who knows? 2 years from now, maybe we're national champions. 3 years, maybe. At most, I'm thinking, at most, at the very most, 4 years. 4 years, at the very most. At the very least, 2 years. They're gonna do that all the time. People call me stupid. People call me retarded. I don't care. That's just what I think. That's what I feel. I trust Josh Heupel, and I trust his system that he's building. He just needs the right pieces, and he's been lucky to have the pieces that he has to start off. He started off with very good pieces, and it's been able to translate to good football. Um, so it's going to be really cool to see him rebuild it, because now after this year, all our pieces that he came in with are gone. It's a whole new football team. I'm going to be very excited and very interested to see how he's able to maneuver that and see how his recruiting is and see what he's able to do, maybe transfer portal. And that's what I'm more excited for. Yes, as a college football fan, of course I want my team to win the national championship every year. But that's not the main focus on my mind. I also, college football is not like the NFL where it's like every year, it could be your year, next year it can not. Like the Rams won the Super Bowl 4 years ago. They haven't done anything since. Haven't been in the playoffs since. So NFL is more like a hit and miss. College football, any year could be your year. And not only that, every year you're looking forward to the next year. So, yeah, I think, I'm not expecting a national championship this year. I'm expecting a good season. All right. You have a good season, you get more recruits, get a higher ranking, start off the year. Now, I don't want to be too high like we were this year. I'm not mad at our ranking. Of course, I was like, yeah, number 9. It's beautiful. But I also knew, knowing Tennessee, that we fucked that up at some point. So, like 2 years ago, weren't even ranked. Perfect. No, like, there's no telescope on your team, no expectations for your team. And when your team goes out there and performs, it's great to see. That's what I like. I love almost like an underdog kind of feeling. And if you have a really good team, you're number 2 and 3, especially for a fan base that's been starving for so long, people start overreacting and going all out, and then it becomes a little bit like Cowboys fans. And when your season is over, it's like, oh, damn. That's how I was last year. I mean, I was a little bit of an arrogant person last year. I was like, man, we don't have to beat Georgia. I just want to beat Bama. But you have to beat Bama? I was like, we don't have to beat Georgia now. I could lose to Georgia. We just got to win out. We're in the college football playoff. And that was true. And we were going to play Georgia again. And then, Beamer ball hit us in the mouth. Bottom line, this weekend is going to be very good for Tennessee. I think we win. I think it's a little bit more points because Bama can score early. It's the late part of the game that they've struggled with all year. My final score prediction 24-20. It comes down to fourth down and which defense can make the biggest ruckus. And which quarterback can have the least mistakes. I think Joe Milton plays a decent game. Not saying he throws for 455 touchdowns, but I think he keeps the ball out of harm's way for this game. I think he makes a couple of good throws. I think he's able to push the ball down the field and keep this game close because I think early on, Bama's going to come out storming. It's going to be one of those 10-0 starts. I think it's going to be one of those 10-0 starts, and then second quarter comes around, we pick it up at halftime. We're probably leading, and then back and forth second half. So that's my take on Tennessee. It's not too much to talk about. Had a tough win. Sloppy, but a win is a win. I think we clean up a little bit on the road, especially at home. You can afford to play a little sloppy. On the road, you cannot, especially in the SEC. You cannot play sloppy. So, yeah, I think we fix it this week. And, we're going to win on the road in Tuscaloosa for the first time in, 25 years, it seems like. In my existence, damn near, probably. I think like 05 or 04 or 03 would have been the last time we won in Tuscaloosa. I got to look into that. I got to look that up. But long fucking time. Now that everything been said, the elephant in the room. New Orleans Saints football. As y'all don't know if you can tell. A few Saints up there. I'm a big Saints fan. I'm a Saints fan before I am a Tennessee fan. I'm a Saints fan before I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Saints fan before I'm an LSU fan. I am a Saints fan. Die-hard New Orleans boy. And this year is probably one of the most frustrating years I've had to deal with in a long time. When you have high expectations and your team does not meet those expectations, it is extremely frustrating. I feel like I'm damn near on the team. It's like, damn. Like, what the fuck is this? What am I looking at? Our offense has to be the last ranked offense in the league. I can't think of another offense. Maybe the Panthers, of course. But it's hard to find many offenses as bad as ours. We literally score like 13 points a game. Maybe the Patriots, but pretty sure they just scored a few more points than us this week. So it is it's pretty bothersome. So we played Texans this past weekend. We actually played tonight. It's 12:36. We played tonight against the Jaguars, Thursday Night Football. Not ready for it. This team, we went out last 2 years. I have not paid attention because I know we're not going to win anything. We don't have a quarterback. We didn't have a quarterback the last 2 years. We had Andy Dalton, Trevor Siemian, Jameis Winston. Half a season he got hurt, came back, was not that good. Taysom Hill for a little bit. Have not had good quarterbacks the last 2 years since Drew Brees left. So I haven't been paying attention last 2 years. Like I definitely look at the game if it's on TV, or I check the score when we're playing. But I know what I'm going to get from this team. I'm not going to get 30 points. I'm not going to get 20. Right? This year, though, we get a quarterback, a Pro Bowl level quarterback, a potential top 10, top 15 hovering quarterback, a competent quarterback. Andy Dalton is not competent anymore. Trevor Siemian has never been competent, right? And Taysom Hill is not really a quarterback. He's a flex player. He can play quarterback, but not every down. So expectations this year, kind of Super Bowl. We're in a bad division. Now, granted, the division has been very good this year so far. We're all, only one team is below 500, and it's the worst team in the league. So, we have a winnable division this year, regardless. We have the best quarterback in the division. You would hope, looking at it from the outside, looking at it on paper, we have the best football team in the division. We should win the division. We should look at our schedule. It's one of the worst. It's the easiest schedules in the league. We should win 12, 13 games. Right now, we're looking at 13. We're 3-3 right now. We're 3-3, and we have not looked good in any of those games, except one. That's the Patriots. The rest, even the other two wins, did not look good. The Titans game did not look good. The Titans just don't have an offense. So all we had to do is score 16, 12 points. We won that game, what 17-13 or some shit? We all we had to do was score our normal amount we've been scoring all year. And I thought nothing of it. I was like, we'll figure it out. The other win we had against the Panthers. We scored 20 points. Other than that, we haven't scored 20 or more points but 2 games. It took us literally 4 quarters to score that 20 against Carolina. The worst team in the football league. Pete Carmichael is an idiot. And it is evident, if you're a Saints fan, that it is clearly evident that Drew Brees carried this franchise for 15 years. And I mean absolutely carried this franchise. 2-0. Like, Sean Payton is not a good coach right now. He is struggling in Denver. He may very well be fired before the year ends. All right? Pete Carmichael, since Drew Brees left, we haven't scored more than 30 points. I can count how many times on my hand we've scored 30 points since Drew Brees left. Pete Carmichael is not it. He's not it. He needs to go. Problem is, we're already halfway into the season. Can't really let the offensive coordinator go right now when we're 3-3. If we were 0-6, he'd be gone. But we're 3-3. We have a shot. We're still in the thick of things. It can be fixed. So he can't go anywhere. So we're stuck with Pete Carmichael. Unless we just start losing games on purpose. I don't understand. And Derek Carr, I don't know if he's just not used to the system yet or he's just not comfortable yet, but he makes some of the dumbest decisions. Now, he's gotten better. I saw a lot of good against the Texans and a lot of bad. But the bad was mainly on Pete Carmichael, not on Derek Carr. It was 50-50 most of these games. Against the Texans, it was more 60-40. Derek played exceptionally well. He made a lot of good throws. He threw for 350, 360? But when it came down to when we needed it, yes, he did not make the throws I needed him to make. I'm going to go back to a specific point, fourth quarter. I'm going to pull it up. Well, probably not because I can't do a little square thing. I haven't figured that out yet. Fourth quarter, it is 3rd down 5 at the Texans. Remind you, we got down in between the Texans' 30-yard line, actually within their 20-yard line, 5 straight drives to end the football game. We missed a field goal. Went for a 4th, didn't make it. Missed another field goal. I mean, it was rough. But 3rd and 5, we're like the Texans 14, right? We run a draw to Alvin Kamara on 3rd and 5. Nothing happens. I'm like, okay, that was pretty stupid. But 4th and 5 is pretty manageable. The way we've been playing today, yeah, I think we can get this. And of course, we stay on the field, 4th and 5. We're down by 7, and we throw a like not even a screen pass, like a check down to Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. When the ball is thrown, Alvin Kamara catches it behind the line of scrimmage. So I already know he's not. Not only did he catch it behind the line of scrimmage, there's 2 Texans sitting there waiting for him to catch the football. He gets like 2 yards. I'm thinking to myself, what are we doing? Who would in their right mind would have thought to throw that? You look at the replay, there's really nothing else going on down the field. So that was the play. Not only did Derek Carr throw it and maybe not check out of it or do something, That was the original play call. Pete Carmichael was like, "Yeah, this is gonna work, guys. Break." Like, I don't understand. Um, I'm like, okay, if you're gonna run that, why didn't you run that on third down? Get us 2 more yards to get 4th and 3, 4th and 2. Then you can throw a slant or run the ball even on 4th down, or then you throw that pass. Run the same play again. You throw a screen. I don't think I've never seen the Saints offense this to the point that we don't even run screens anymore. The Saints offense used to be all about screens and passes over the middle. We don't do any of that. We do none of that. This team is a struggle to watch offensively. And it's evident that everyone on this offense knows, everyone on this team knows. The defense had an awful first half. Awful first half. And they got their shit together in the second half, and the offense just never fixed any of it. At all. Just Pete Carmichael had no adjustments. They didn't even need adjustments. The Texans were giving us the football game the entire second half. They were literally handing it to us and saying, "Here, this is yours. You should have it. You should take it." We did none of that. We didn't even get close. The end of the game, our defense does the job again. We get the ball back. We move down the field in Texan territory. And it's like we're just throwing Hail Marys the whole drive. What are we doing? What are we doing? This Saints team is a tough team to watch, and it's at the point where I don't think that offense will be fixed this year. Because if it's this bad now, it's been this way for consecutive 6 straight weeks. It's been the same offense, except one. Let me rephrase. Except 1 week. And that's only because the Patriots are really bad. So that's also my chair. I don't think anything weird. I'm not shit in my pants. Chair. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's not going to be fixed this year. There's no way we're just going to all of a sudden we fix it and we're scoring 35 on people and our offense is clicking. Derek Carr's MVP. But how can we do something so like it's so mind-boggling that it's like I don't know what we're going to do. I go into every game just like, damn, I wonder how bad the play call is going to be today. And I'm so happy when it's going good. Also, Blake Grupe, why is he our kicker? Why is he our kicker? Why is he our kicker? I'm going to keep saying that every game. We let go of Will Lutz, who has probably been one of the best Saints kickers I've seen. Because we had since Garrett Hartley left, we have not had a consistent kicker until we drafted Will Lutz. And he's been so good. He had a bad training camp, and they cut him for Blake Grupe, who had a good preseason. I can't lie. But put him on the practice squad. Stick with the veteran kicker. You know how hard it is to keep kickers? Not keep them, but find them. Like, yeah, there's old guys out there, but to draft one and keep one, and he be good. Draft one and he be good. Very rare. And we're like, he had a bad training camp. We're going to release him. What? Dude can kick 60-yard field goals like it's nothing. Don't forget, he's one of the most accurate kickers in the league. He had a rough year. Look at the team we had. The whole team had a rough year. You kick. It baffles me because he didn't deserve to be released. I miss him because Blake Grupe he choked the game away for us at Green Bay. We should have one more win. He choked at Green Bay. We choked, but he had a chance to win us the game and he choked. He missed 2 kicks in Houston that were big kicks that would have made this game. At the end of the game, we were in field goal range. He could have kicked it, won the game. We should have 5. We should be 5-1 right now. If we, as bad as our offense have been, we should be 5-1. If we had a better kicker, it's simple as that. 5-1 should be our record. The Bucs game, we couldn't fucking. Pete Carmichael whipped out the worst play calling ever. It's Tampa Bay. They took advantage of it. Defense was like, hey, we're not going to play today. We needed the offense to do something. And it backfired. We got Jacksonville at home. tonight. I'm not excited for it. That's a good offense. And to beat the Jaguars, you have to put up points. You have to put up a lot of points. I'm talking 27, 28, 30, 34. And as good as our defense is, I know they're still going to get points on the board. They're always going to get points on the board. Trevor Lawrence and this offense, Doug Peterson, he's not going to have an offense that doesn't score. Doug Peterson knows what he's doing. He's won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, and they put 40 points on New England. Doug Peterson knows what he's doing. And he knows he's got a quarterback and an offense and a whole team that he has the personnel to do it. So that no matter what, they're putting up 35, 37, 38 points on a weekly basis. They'll have a hiccup here and there, but they're going to score points. And you have to be ready for it no matter what. Our offense cannot score more than 13 points, it seems like. So it's either going to be a shootout and Derek Carr just takes over and says, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I will figure this out. Or it's going to be a blowout and we lose just like we lost to Tampa Bay. There's no in between. I don't think it's going to be a defensive game. I don't think we're going to keep Jackson. Our defense is very good, but that's an offense that it's just like when Drew Brees was instead. When Drew Brees is our quarterback, it doesn't matter what defense we're playing, we're scoring points. You can be a good defense all you want. Points still get put on the board. We're going to find a way. With Chiefs, they've slowed down offensively the last few years, but you still have to have the threat of them putting up points. With Andy Reid as their coach, not just because they have Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is their coach. It's going to be a tough game because as much as I love our defense, that's literally our rock, they're going to have a tough task, a tall task. You're asking them to literally win us this game. Literally carry this game and this season. Because if we lose this game, we're 3-4. 3-4, and then I think we go on a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. After the bye week, it does get slightly easier, but you don't want to be coming from behind. 3-4 in a really tough NFC where you got the 49ers, you got the Eagles, you got the Lions, you got the Bucks who are kind of good. Not a good division, but like you don't want to fall at 3-4 and 3-5. They have to, with this offense, have to stack wins, like multiple wins in a row. With this team, we can't afford to go under 500 because we're not going to be able to come back with this offense. We have to win as many games in a row as possible. We have to stack because there's going to be a point where we're going to lose 2 games in a row, maybe even 3. But you don't want that to literally hurt your season to the point where you can't come back. That's like when you don't have a good team and you know you don't have a good team and you start off good and you're like, okay, at some point it's all going to end, but we're okay. Like the Bucks, every Bucks fan knew coming into the year, it's like, okay, we're not going to do anything. We're probably going to be last in the division. Okay. They've come out really good. But every Bucks fan knows at some point, I mean, they've already shown it against 2 good football teams, the Eagles and Lions, that they really can't compete in the NFC. They really can't. Not right now, at least. But if they keep getting these wins against the easy teams, it won't look as bad when they lose to the good teams. Because, okay, they're 4. What are they 3-2 right now? Let's say next week they play somebody trash. They get to 4-2. And then they get to 5-2 because they played another trash team. All right. Okay, you lose 2 more, you're 5-4. You're still above water, right? You're still hanging on. You got a team that's you just want to hang on, you want to stay right there in the middle of the pack just to make it through the year. You don't want to fall at 3-5, 3-6, and you know your team's not that good to win consecutive games. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to put myself through that because I've already had to deal with it for, at this point now 3 years, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens to in the offseason. If we decide to keep Pete Carmichael, I doubt we will. And Dennis Allen, I think we keep him. I like Dennis Allen. I didn't like him at first. I did not like that coaching choice, but I've grown. He's grown on me, um, and he's the reason our defense is the way it is. Defense would have not ever. Our defense was awful for the first 10 years. Drew Brees was with us. We got Dennis Allen, and our defense got dramatically better immediately. It's been consistent ever since he's joined the Saints. So that's the kind of the reason I want to keep him around because of the defense. And even like we've had to move pieces and get new pieces, and it's still been consistent. This defense has still been a top 10 defense. So I want to keep him, but if we have another season where we're not making the playoffs, if we don't at least make the playoffs this year, he's going to be in the hot seat next year. I don't say we get rid of him, like fire him as a coach. I don't know if it's possible. I think you just put him back a defensive coordinator. Like this didn't work out. You know, we're gonna go explore options, but we like to keep him on our staff. Because I think he knows he can't run an offense. The defensive minded coach, it's very difficult to try to, you know, man an offense as a defensive head coach. Bill Belichick has never been able to do it. So he's gotten good offensive coordinators. Nick Saban has never been able to do it. That's why he gets really good offensive coordinators. Defensive minded coaches need a good offensive coordinator. And we don't have that. So I'd like to say we keep him head coach because I like him. But it's going to be hard if we don't make the playoffs this year. It's going to be very hard. And I don't know who else is out there. Maybe the Chargers coach, whatever his name is. He's a good offensive-minded head coach. He makes some good play calls. I think his players let him down a little bit, but I think he makes some questionable calls. But I think he can fix his offense. If he gets fired in LA, I say we bring him on as our offensive coordinator. I would love Brandon Staley. I just need. If we can have him as our offensive coordinator, magic. Because you see what Justin Herbert's doing. With all that being said, I'm gonna need more beer for the Saints game tonight to drink my sorrows away. And hope that we get a very much needed win. The Cowboys played last night. Not really impressed. I don't really like the Cowboys. The Chargers aren't a very good football team. Like they can be. They have the potential to be a top 5 NFL team. They just the Chargers. We know who the Chargers are. Real quick, let's go ahead and look at go look back at all the games that happened this weekend because I kind of don't remember. How do I get to Google? Safari. I wish more people would join this. Nice to talk to some people. But we're working there. We're working ahead. We're working to get to that point. Bills Giants. That was a crazy game. I didn't watch it. I kind of kept tabs on it. But the Giants are the most saddest story I think in the NFL. They just can't catch a break. Like they're not an awful team. They just have an awful offensive line, and it just sucks to see them where they are because they just what are they 1-6 now? I will say this: now they've got their hard part of the schedule out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants won 7 or 8 games straight. Now their offensive line probably not going to happen. They're probably going to end up if they're not. I don't think they get a top 2 pick, but they definitely get a top 5 pick. The Bears are probably not going to win another football game. The Panthers may not ever win a football game. They don't have a defense at all. The Panthers are really bad to watch. If you've watched any football this year, they are tough to watch. Why do my lips look like that? The Eagles are who I thought they were this year. I didn't think they were going to be good. They just kind of got lucky early on. Their defense played them out of a lot of games early. Then they finally played a team with a really good defense, which is the Jets. And the Jets have really dominated all year defensively. So I'm not surprised at all. Um, I don't think the Eagles aren't even going to win their division. I think Jalen Hurts has got a Super Bowl slump. It may not show in the record of the team, but all their wins have been sloppy. All their wins have been bad. They've not played well. Jalen Hurts specifically has not played well. I don't think they win their division. Hear me out. I think it's gonna. They're definitely gonna be up there at the end. But I think somehow the Cowboys jump them. Even though the Cowboys have horrendous schedule coming up, I think the Eagles also have a really tough schedule. NFC East has to have a harder schedule this year. I think the Commanders kind of mess with them a little, both of them, and try to mix things up. I think this division, whoever wins the division, is going to only have 10 wins, 10 or 11 at most, 11 the most, and it's going to come down to the last 2 weeks. I don't. That's what I think. NFC East always been like that, really. Um, so it's kind of hard to not think like that. They never had a repeat winner. So come on now. The 49ers had a tough loss, but I feel bad for Brock Purdy. He should still be undefeated. He didn't play well at all, but he gave his team a chance and gave them a chip shot to win the game. Kicker screwed it up. So, sucks for Brock, but a lot of football left. It was going to happen at some point. Just hate to see it like that. Like if Brock Purdy was going to lose his first game, I'd rather him just get his ass, and he got his ass beat. I'd rather him lose a game where it's like 45-10, and then everyone panics, like, "Oh, Brock Purdy really isn't good," and he goes out next week throws 5 touchdown passes. So it's not really a big deal. It just kind of sucks the way it happened. The Lions are legit. They're going to probably be a top 2 seed in the NFL, not just the NFC. I think they're going to be. They're going to get home field advantage this year in the playoffs. Like you heard me say it right here. They're going to be number 1 seed in the NFC. The 49ers are very good. Best team in the NFL. But 49, the Lions are going to be that surprise story. I'm not saying now, there's always that one team that's really good, and then they make the Super Bowl every year. I don't really want to say the Lions are making the Super Bowl because I don't think anyone's had those words come out of their mouth like ever. So it sounds unreal. Like the Bengals are one team. It's like, okay, the Bengals have been to the Super Bowl. They go to the playoffs pretty frequently. This may be their hump to get over. It's like, okay, the Eagles go to the playoffs pretty frequently. Kind of like, okay, I can see that. Um, the 49ers go to the Super Bowl pretty frequently. It's like, on the playoffs, and they're like, okay, yeah, I can see them making the Super Bowl. But, there's some teams like the Lions or like the Commanders or the Falcons or the Bucks. It's like the Browns. It's like Super Bowl. You don't even talk about that with those teams. So it's kind of weird to hear that come out of my mouth. But it may be time to be looking like they are legit. Oh, it's Wednesday, not Thursday. Um, Saints game is tomorrow. But yeah, I think the Lions are a legitimate problem. Um, I will say, what the fuck's wrong with my computer, bro? What the fuck? Um, Other than that, not really much news in the NFL. I mean, some good games like um, yeah, lost my train of thought. But yeah, not much in the NFL. College football. Let's talk a lot about some college football today. We'll be out here for another 10, 15 minutes or so. Um, I am. I watched some games this weekend that shocked me. Again, like I said earlier, Notre Dame is the best two loss team I've seen in a long time. Like this early in the year, usually a 2 loss team you would think like later in the year. No, Notre Dame is a legitimate threat. They're a legitimate football team. They're very good. They've had 2 sucky losses that are like, damn, sucks that happened that early in the year, but it's good they happened in early in the year. They're like the '05 LSU team that lost 2 games, won a national championship. I'm not saying that Notre Dame's going to win a national championship, but I would not be surprised if they made the Final Four. Would not be surprised at all. Um, Miami is not good like we all expected. Duke is surprisingly actually pretty good. Um, Missouri's they could be a threat in the SEC. I think they got Georgia coming up this weekend. I think I'm not 100% sure, but let's look at Missouri's schedule real quick. Yeah, they got Georgia this week. So in Athens. So if we don't know the time of the game yet, I'm assuming a night game. That's their first test. I mean, they played with LSU. They got a chance against LSU, and LSU's just really good. But this, and they got. Oh wait, I take it back. They play South Carolina this weekend. Yeah, they play South Carolina. They're gonna beat the dog crap out of South Carolina. South Carolina's good. Like they're 2-5, but they're a solid team. I give them their respect. But then they play Georgia, so they're gonna be 7-1 on that Georgia game. Um, and that's gonna be game of the year for both of those teams. And then they play us. They play Tennessee the following week. So Missouri is either going to look. Missouri is either going to go to the national championship or they're going to end the season like unranked because their schedule gets pretty brutal. If my freaking computer works, because they got South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and Arkansas. They only got one loss right now, so I think they're going to beat South Carolina. They're 7-1. And without a limb, I say they beat Georgia. They played Georgia well last year. I think they beat Georgia. It's not gonna be like a dominant win, but I think they get the win. Um, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I think they get a really tough win on the road, and then they come down to earth and they lose to Tennessee. So it's gonna be that probably will be game day. They beat Georgia, and I think they come back to earth and Tennessee has a very good statement game, and they got Florida. So is that 8-1, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2? It's solid if you're Missouri. I'd freaking be jumping up and down if I'm a Missouri fan and tell me, my team would be 10-2 and our only two losses are LSU and Tennessee. Um, Air Force, I don't know where they came from, but they're solid. I have not seen a game from them yet this year. Like I said, Duke, I think, is a very good football team this year. I think they're going to be in the ACC championship. ACC is not that strong. My computer was anything worth a flip, it would be working right now. Like my mouse would be working. It's not touchscreen. Okay, get that. Anywho, yeah, this week some good football games. I think my son's coming to say hello here in a second. Could just be looking at me. Wait, what's up, buddy? What are you doing, bro? I don't know what he's doing, but my computer sucks. It doesn't want to scroll, so that's a little bit annoying. A little bit frustrating. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead and wind this one down. Not my best takes for the most part. I've been lacking a little bit. Just trying to get used to it. Yeah, tomorrow, I think I'm going to just talk about, I don't know yet. You guys will have to come and find out. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit tomorrow about something of my choice. No clue yet, but I think I'll figure something out. And maybe I'll have someone on, get a Zoom call going or something. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, we go ahead and end this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and check out the TikTok. I will leave it in the description below. I appreciate you guys watching and supporting me. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get this ball rolling here sooner or later, and we'll start pumping out these videos. Like I said, quantity over quality right now. So I got a few people a little bit of constructive criticism. I don't mind it. I understand. I'm all in for it. But right now, it's quantity over quality. I'm gonna get a camera here soon. Um, I'm gonna start working on getting the editing set up and things of that nature, and just it's gonna look good. But I want to start off with just straight me talking to you guys, and me personally getting used to this, and get more comfortable and able to talk a little bit better and not kind of seem almost like I'm talking to myself in a weird way. More connected, Um, you know, I'm new to this. I've always sat and talked to myself, of course, and looked at myself in the mirror, but never actually put it out, for the world to see. So, yeah, guys, again, we're gonna be getting this ball rolling soon, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you watch this whole video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.